as it transpires, Carlo Ancelotti really understands how to oppose the teams that he's facing. Of course, Liverpool has been sort of a bane in his existence, both as a player and as a coach. And it's a team that he's always confessed to studying quite closely because he always wants to challenge them. But what about the changes now? I thought this was quite interesting because obviously they were so marvellous to watch. I especially note what you're saying in defence about the fact that they closed down the spaces, but they just never allowed Liverpool to get into that, playing the balls over the back. They just loved that. I thought Mario was fantastic as a goalkeeper. Obviously, so was Adrian. But what about the changes? Now, this was interesting because they brought in Zielinski and Carlo Ancelotti brought on Llorente. And it looked like Ancelotti was asked about Zielinski before in terms of Fabian Ruiz and what kind of players he wants, and he goes, everyone has a different role. Ruiz is better with the sort of quick interchanges and tighter spaces, shorter passes. Zielinski is there because he's more accurate with the longer balls, and then you have Llorente, and you're thinking to yourself, they stepped off a bit, and then they scored too.
Yeah, I mean, for Llorente and Zielinski coming in, almost sat watching it when it's happening, there's almost a feeling of, okay, this is the point at which, because it was the point of the game in which Napoli were struggling most. It felt a bit like, okay, this is the moment when you feel like, okay, we're beginning to lose control of this. These two players...
And physically losing control, because I remember there was a couple of times Henderson just barged the midfield away and started running forward. They were beating the Napoli players for pace and energy, and you thought, that's why he made the changes. And I was feeling exactly the same as you. I thought Napoli were actually shutting up shop and saying, we're going to this is okay, 0-0 is fine. And I was also questioning, because I was doing the commentary, if you're going to play Llorente to be a player that's going to win balls in the air when crosses are coming in, why would you take off Insigne and put Zielinski in, who played narrower and played almost as a third central midfield player? But in the end, it obviously worked for them.
Yeah. Also because I think what's so interesting is how often Ancelotti has made a point of saying Llorente is a footballer and isn't sort of a target man. I mean, he's a footballer. He really knows how to play football. He delivered the assist over the weekend, and now he was the guy who got the goal. And it's like, okay, I bought on Zielinski, but I'm still going to make sure that we're playing football despite that.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's something that needs to be said here, because we've gone straight in, as I love to do, to go straight in on the tactics and get into that part of it. But quite aside from that, and the reason in the end that they win the game, other than a penalty, which in my opinion is not a penalty, a break of luck on that, it is great individual performances as well. I mean, Koulibaly had his best performance this season at the back, without question. Yeah. Mertens, I thought, had a really good game, and it was his run, again, for me it's a dive from Callejon, but it's Mertens' run that sets up that whole situation in which Robertson is a bit off balance. It's one of those things, that penalty, in that I think Robertson was genuinely caught in a bad spot and off balance and stuck his foot out in a way he shouldn't.
But we go back to...
then it was a dive.
Yeah, we go back to Llorente. I can remember saying in the commentary, when it came from a goal kick, and I said, Llorente's got to win this ball in the air, otherwise Napoli aren't going to get out their half. He didn't actually win it, but he stopped Matip winning it. I think they both went out, and the ball bounced into whoever was the next, I can't remember who was in that position. But then they were able to switch it out to the right-hand side. But it all came about because Llorente stopped Matip heading it 20 yards back. That was the key point in the move that allowed it all to happen after that.
Yeah, and then you could say, Merit, you mentioned already, Mina made a couple of great saves. But Mario Rui, out of nowhere, Mario Rui, who is sort of the player who I think most often people want to pick out as the weak point in that Napoli team, had game of his life all around. I mean, I thought the Adrian save, which everyone rightly was giving Adrian a lot of plaudits for, was just such a nice cross from Mario Rui to set it up as well. Just the waiting on it, the positioning of it. I thought he had best game I can remember him having.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.